I like the dog. It's friendly.
Hello and welcome back to my channel Box Office Poison. My name is Moxie McMurder, and in this video I want to talk to you about a true glamour ghoul, Vera West. Her name may not be as well known as some of her counterparts like Edith Head, but Vera West was the head costume designer for Universal Studios, and her work is truly iconic, especially in the horror genre. She was one of the first women to be a studio chief designer, and she has 393 IMDb credits as costume designer, including Dracula in 1931, The Mummy in 1932, The Bride of Frankenstein in 1935, the iconic little black dress that Ava Gardner wears in The Killers from 1946. This is quite a mouthful. And although uncredited, she was also the wardrobe supervisor on Dracula's Daughter from 1936. Surprisingly, she never received any awards for her designs, but that's probably because the Academy Award for Costume Design was not a thing until 1948, a year or so after she died. But her designs live on and are referenced today in just about every conceivable way, from fashion to film, and it cannot be understated what an impact her designs have had on pop culture. Her death in 1947 was declared a suicide, but the mysterious circumstances surrounding her death have led to rumours for decades. Little is known about West's early life. Even the year of her birth is somewhat unknown, but most accept that she was born on the 28th of June, 1898 or 1900. She was born in Philadelphia, and she studied at the Philadelphia Institute of Design. Eventually, Vera left Philadelphia for California between 1924 and 1925. Reports of Vera's life consistently report that she left Philadelphia for California suddenly and under somewhat suspicious circumstances. Was it an affair? A baby? Blackmail? Whatever it was she was running from, she eventually found a home at Universal Studios, replacing Lucia Coulter in 1927. Vera's life was cut short when she was found floating face down in her swimming pool early in the morning of Sunday the 29th of June, 1947. Robert Landry, a man who rented the guest house that Vera and her husband Jack owned, told reporters, "I always come in the back way, but I heard the dogs fretting and I saw that all the lights were on in the house, so I started to investigate. The body was already floating." Landry had heard West's two dogs whimpering and he went to check on them. In the pool was Vera. She had just turned 47 2 days earlier. Police found two notes in Vera's bedroom, both addressed to Jack Chandler and written on torn greeting cards. They read, "This is the only way. I am tired of being blackmailed. The fortune teller told me there was only one way to duck the blackmail I've paid for 23 years. Death." Her husband claimed Vera had never been blackmailed and that these notes were the result of gremlins of my wife's imagination, and that recently her behaviour had become increasingly erratic. So where was Jack the night she died? Her husband told the police that they had had a violent quarrel and he'd stormed out after Vera threatened divorce. He took a drive heading north to Santa Barbara, but gave up halfway there, and after spending the night in his car, he returned to Beverly Hills, where he checked into a hotel. He explained away the blackmail references by saying that his wife was always imagining things like that. After blaming her suicide on their marital problems, he later told his attorney that Vera did not know how to swim and that she hated the water, which begs the question, how did she end up in the pool? It seems the mystery around her death was never really solved, and I say that because the reason the mystery remains, and that it's not just an open-close case of suicide, is because the autopsy done by a Dr. Marvin Goodwin reported that she died from asphyxia, probably due to drowning, but the senior coroner, Dr. Frederick Newbar, refused to sign the report. It also seems there was no investigation into the husband's story, and no investigation into the blackmailing or Vera's financial records. Her death was in the newspapers for a few days, but quickly it died down. Her husband had their home demolished not long after she died, and that's the end of the story. Her death was declared a suicide, and a year after her death, her husband Jack seemed to disappear too. There are apparently no records of him after 1948. Vera West is buried at the Forest Lawn Cemetery in Los Angeles. In 2005, she was inducted into the Costume Designers Guild Hall of Fame. Her death was a real loss to the film industry. It's a shame that her talent was cut short and that her name isn't as well known as it should be. Take a look through her IMDb credits and you'll see just how prolific she was. It's honestly breathtaking just how many well-known and beloved films she's worked on. Next time you're watching one of these films, take a moment to appreciate the people who work so hard to bring these characters to life through something as simple or as extravagant as clothing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment to help support the channel. The algorithm loves a comment, and I love a comment too. Talk to me. I won't bite, unless you ask. Oh. If you really liked my video and you'd like to help to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link to my coffee account in the description below. Thanks again, have a great day, and stay spooky.